Hello everyone. This video is on lateral wall of nasal cavity. In my previous video, I have described the other walls of the nasal cavity, especially the nasal septum. In this video, we will study the components of lateral wall of nasal cavity, that is, the bones and the cartilages that form the lateral wall of nasal cavity. We will also have a look at the conchae. These are scroll-like or shelf-like bony projections along the lateral wall of nasal cavity, and the meatuses, which are the spaces or the recesses present beneath the bony conchae. We'll also look at the various structures which open into the meatuses. As described in my previous video also, the nasal cavity extends from anterior nares, also known as nostrils, which can be seen here, these openings, to the posterior nares or the conae. These are also known as anterior nasal aperture and posterior nasal aperture respectively. Now this nasal cavity is divided into right and left halves by the presence of osteocartilaginous nasal septum. Each half of the nasal cavity has got four walls, and these are the roof, the floor, the medial wall, which is nothing but the nasal septum, and the lateral wall. This picture shows the anterior view of the nasal cavity. We can see here, this is the nasal septum, which is divided the nasal cavity into two halves. These are the lateral walls of the nasal cavity. We can see here that the lateral wall is irregular. It is irregular. Why it is irregular? Because of the presence of these shelf-like bony projections, which are known as conchae or turbinates. Here we can see along this wall two conchae, middle and the inferior. These are known as middle and inferior concha. Here also on this side, the inferior nasal concha is very obvious. Now, what are the functions of these conchae or turbinates? They increase the surface area of the nasal cavity and help in humidifying and warming the air. They also disrupt the fast flow of the air. They make it slow so that the air remains for a longer time in the nasal cavity. Lateral wall of the nasal cavity is divided into three parts. The first part is placed anteriorly, and to be precise, antero-inferiorly, and this is known as vestibule. So the anterior-most part is the vestibule, and this is covered by skin, which has got sebaceous glands as well as sweat glands, plus the hair, which are known as vibrissae. The middle part, which is posterior superior to the vestibule, is known as atrium. This is also known as atrium of the middle meatus. Now this atrium and the posterior part, they are covered by mucosa, and the epithelial lining here for most of it is the respiratory epithelium, which is pseudo-stratified ciliated columnar epithelium. The atrium is separated from the vestibule by this small valve-like projection which can be seen here, which is known as Lyman nasi, and it is limited above by another fold of or slight raise in the mucosa, which is known as Agar nasi. This is present at the level of middle concha. The posterior part of the lateral wall of nasal cavity has got these three shelf-like projections, and these are known as conchae. So these three conchae from above downwards, they are superior concha, middle concha and inferior concha. If we remove these conchae, we'll be able to see the spaces which are present beneath these, and these spaces are known as meatuses. The superior concha and the middle concha, they are actually part of ethmoid bone, whereas the inferior concha is a separate bone. The smallest of the three conchae is the superior one, and inferior concha is the largest of all. Let us look at the bones and the cartilages that form the lateral wall of the nose. So here the cartilages, if we consider, they are shown by number 2 and 3, and some more small cartilages are also there. So they are the lateral nasal cartilage. This is the lateral process of the septal cartilage. And then we have the major alar cartilage and 2 to 3 minor alar cartilage. Some part of this is also formed by fibrofatty tissue. Here, this is the part of the vestibule. Then the bones. Let us see which are the bones from anterior to posterior. These bones are, the first one which can be seen here is the nasal bone. Second one, which is in pink in color, this bone is the maxilla. This light blue colored bone, this is the lacrimal bone, and this is the ethmoid bone. As I said, this is the superior concha and this is the middle concha, and they are part of ethmoid bone. The 7 number, this is the inferior concha, which is a separate bone. Just behind that, this blue colored, this bone is the palatine bone. And this is the perpendicular plate of palatine bone. And here we can see actually it's 2 processes also. This process is known as the orbital process and sphenoidal process. And we can see here a foramen. This is known as sphenopalatine foramen. Through this, the sphenopalatine artery that is going to reach the nose from the pterygopalatine fossa. And the last part here, which contributes to the lateral wall of nose, this is the medial pterygoid plate of sphenoid bone. So now once again, I'll tell you the structures that form the lateral wall of nasal cavity. First, the cartilages. The cartilages are the lateral process of the septal cartilage, or you also call it lateral nasal cartilage. Then in the ala, we have the major and 2 to 3 minor alar cartilage. The bones from before backwards, they are nasal, maxilla, lacrimal, ethmoid and inferior nasal concha, perpendicular plate of palatine bone, and the medial pterygoid plate of sphenoid bone. In this picture, the conchae, they have been cut so that we can appreciate the spaces or the recesses which lie beneath them. And these spaces and the recesses are known as meatuses. Now let us start from the near the roof region. So just above the superior concha, there is a slight depressed space here, and this is known as sphenoethmoidal recess. Sphenoethmoidal recess. And as the name suggests, you can see here, it is present between the 2 bones, that is, this one is the ethmoid and this one is the sphenoid. So the sphenoethmoidal recess is a slight depression which is present above the superior concha. Now beneath the superior concha, this recess or space is known as superior meatus. Beneath the middle meatus, this space is known as the middle meatus. And let us see what we can see here. We can see a slightly elevated structure here. This is known as ethmoidal bulla. And what lies deep to that? Deep to that lie the middle ethmoidal air sinuses. We have lots of ethmoidal air sinuses which are divided into 3 groups: anterior, middle and posterior. So this is the region where we will have the middle ethmoidal air sinuses. In fact, where we have the agar nassae, the upper limit of the atrium of nose, there we have the anterior ethmoidal air cells. Now below this bulla ethmoidae, what do we have? We have a semicircular depressed area here, a canal-like, and this is known as hiatus semilunaris. And at its anterior end, we have a funnel-shaped projection here, which is known as infundibulum. Beneath the inferior concha, this space is known as inferior meatus. So we can mainly say that we have 4 recesses or spaces. The first one above the superior meatus is sphenoethmoidal recess. Beneath the superior concha is the superior meatus. Then beneath the middle concha is the middle meatus, where we have two structures there. The bony projection which you see here, this is ethmoidal bulla, and this canal or the hiatus that you see here, semicircular hiatus, this is known as hiatus semilunaris. And beneath the inferior concha we have inferior meatus. Now let us look at the structures that open into these meatuses. So nasal cavity actually has got openings of all the paranasal air sinuses. So we know that there are 4 bones which have paranasal air sinuses, and they are, here we can see in the frontal bone, this is the frontal air sinus. We can see here, this is the sphenoidal air sinus, and deep to this bone, this, remember the superior concha and the middle concha, they are part of ethmoid bone, right? This here also bulla is also a part of the ethmoid bone only. So deep to this we will have the ethmoidal air sinuses, which I have told you are divided into 3 groups: anterior, middle and posterior group. So ethmoidal air sinuses will open. Then in the maxilla, just lateral to the nasal cavity, we have the maxillary air sinus. So the 4 bones where paranasal air sinuses are present, they are frontal, ethmoid, sphenoid and maxilla. So all these are going to open into the along the lateral wall of the nose in the meatuses. In addition to that, we also have an opening of a duct which extends from our eye, and that duct is which carries lacrimal fluid, and that is known as nasolacrimal duct. So these structures will open. So let us begin with the sphenoethmoidal recess here. So the structure that is going to open here, as can be seen here, you can see the probe passing through that, and you can see the opening. The sphenoidal air sinus that opens into sphenoethmoidal recess. In the superior meatus, we have opening of posterior ethmoidal air sinuses. And then in the middle meatus, over the ethmoidal bulla, we have 1 or 2 openings. And which sinuses will open here? The middle ethmoidal air sinuses. Along this hiatus semilunaris, we will have, first of all, the most anterior part, the infundibulum. There will be opening of frontal air sinus. Then in the middle will be the opening of anterior ethmoidal air sinus. And in the posterior part, you can see a large opening. This will be the maxillary air sinus. Now, how do you remember this? It is very easy to remember. If you look at the superiormost space or the uppermost space, then the sinus, paranasal air sinus, which is most posteriorly placed, that opens. So as you go down along the lateral wall of the nose, the anterior sinuses, they keep on opening here, right? So let us revise again. Here in the sphenoethmoidal sinus, the most posterior sinus will open, and that is the sphenoidal air sinus. Then in the superior meatus, next to the sphenoidal air sinus, which sinuses will come here? The posterior ethmoidal air sinuses. So they will open in the superior meatus. And now rest all will open where? They will open into the middle meatus. But on the ethmoidal bulla, the next comes the middle ethmoidal air sinuses, they will open. And in the hiatus semilunaris, then we'll have the frontal air sinus, the anterior ethmoidal air sinus, and in the lowest part you can see here, this will be the maxillary air sinus. Coming to inferior meatus, what opens into the inferior meatus? The structure that you can see it's opening here is the nasolacrimal duct. So in the inferior meatus, we have the opening of nasolacrimal duct. So let us see here in a tabulated form, we can see the sites and the structures opening into it. Sphenoethmoidal recess, the sinus that opens is sphenoidal air sinus. Very easy to remember. See, this has got this word spheno also here. So sphenoidal air sinus will open. Superior meatus, posterior ethmoidal air sinuses, and the middle meatus, right? Let us see all these sinuses, rest of the sinuses will open here. On the ethmoidal bulla, we have middle ethmoidal air sinuses opening. And in the hiatus similaris, which is divided into three parts, anterior, middle and posterior. So anteriorly we have opening of frontal air sinus. In the middle part we have opening of anterior ethmoid layer sinuses, and in the posterior part we have opening of maxillary air sinus. In the inferior meatus we have the nasolacrimal duct opening into it. Let us look at the arterial supply of lateral wall of nose. As I told you in my previous video also, that first of all we should look at the location of the nose, that is on the face, and what structures are close by and which arteries are close by, which can provide the arterial supply to the nasal cavity. So one such artery is ophthalmic artery, right? This artery supplies the contents of the orbit, and not only that but the areas around the orbit also. So as nose is very close to the orbit, so we'll get some branches from the ophthalmic artery which will supply the nasal cavity also. This artery is branch of internal carotid artery. So the first artery that you have to remember is ophthalmic artery, and we'll look at the branches of this. The second artery which is here is the maxillary artery. You can also remember by remembering that maxilla is just next to the nose. It is involved, or it contributes to its formation, also the maxillar bone. And the artery which is present in the pterygopalatine fossa, the third part of maxillary artery, that is very close to the nasal cavity. So that is also going to provide branches which will supply the nasal cavity. So the second artery that you have to remember is the maxillary artery. This is branch of external carotid artery. The third artery which you find close to the nose, right, and the nasal cavity is the artery which would be running on the face. And this artery is the facial artery. This is also branch of external carotid artery. So the three arteries first that you have to remember which supply nasal cavity, they are ophthalmic artery, maxillary artery and facial artery. Now let us see their branches. To make it easy, what we do is we divide the lateral wall of the nose into four quadrants. Right? So here we have antero-superior quadrant, posterior-superior quadrant, posterior-inferior quadrant, and then this is the antero-inferior quadrant. Let us see the arteries supplying in these quadrants. First of all, the antero-superior quadrant, antero and superior, which is close to the orbit. So the artery that is going to be supplying this part should be a branch of ophthalmic artery, and that artery is anterior ethmoidal artery. The posterior ethmoidal artery, which is small, can also supply this part. So you have to remember which artery? The ethmoidal, anterior and posterior ethmoidal arteries in the antero-superior quadrant. When we come to the posterior quadrant, the superior as well as inferior, then we have to remember that they will be coming from the branches of maxillary artery. And these are, as I told you when we were looking at the bones that form the lateral wall of the nose, a foramen here, the sphenopalatine foramen. So you can see here one of the branch of maxillary artery coming here, and this artery is sphenopalatine artery. See, this is the sphenoid bone, and here we have the perpendicular plate of palatine. And this is the foramen between these two. So that's why the name is sphenopalatine artery. Right, so this is mainly supplying which quadrant? This is mainly supplying the posterior-superior quadrant. And then we have other branch from the maxillary artery which is known as greater palatine artery, because this is going to not only supply the nose but also supply the palate also. So this runs through a canal here, the canal for the greater palatine artery and nerves, and this will also provide branches to the posterior-inferior quadrant of the lateral wall of nasal cavity. But besides this, the greater palatine artery will now reach through the greater palatine foramen on the undersurface of the palate and then pass through the incisive canal here. You can see here, and through that it will reach also the anterior inferior quadrant. So greater palatine artery, you can just remember the structure that lies along the inferior part of the nasal cavity or along the floor is the palate. So that's why both the inferior quadrants, anterior as well as posterior inferior quadrant, they will get the arterial supply from an artery which has palatine word in it, and that artery is the greater palatine artery. And the last one here, there is another artery which is going to supply the anteroinferior quadrant, right? And it is anteriorly placed, right? So anteriorly, what do we have? We have the face. So which artery will give branches? The facial artery. Its superior labial branch, the lateral nasal branch, they will be providing branches to the anteroinferior quadrant. So I think it is simple now. So we can see once again, the anterosuperior quadrant will be supplied by ethmoidal arteries, anterior and posterior ethmoidal arteries, branches of ophthalmic artery. The posterior quadrants, right, they will be supplied by branches of maxillary artery. The posterior superior quadrant is by the sphenopalatine. Posterior inferior quadrant is by the greater palatine, and anteroinferior quadrant is by both greater palatine and by the branches of facial artery. Let us look at the sensory innervation of lateral wall of nasal cavity. We have two kinds of sensations. Here, first is the sense of smell, that is special senses. This will be carried by the olfactory nerve, the first cranial nerve. The general sensation, which are pain, temperature, that is heat, cold, then pressure, touch. These all will be carried by two divisions of trigeminal nerve, the fifth cranial nerve, and these are either via the branches of ophthalmic nerve or via the branches of maxillary nerve. Maxillary nerve can give direct branches also, or it can also innervate via the branches of pterygopalatine ganglion, right? So let us look at this. Now here you can see anterosuperiorly, this nerve which is supplying this region is the anterior ethmoidal nerve, and this is branch of ophthalmic nerve. Now you are very sure that the ethmoidal word, when it comes, in case of artery it has to be branch of ophthalmic artery, and in case of nerve they have to be branches of ophthalmic nerve, right? Now posterior inferiorly, if we see here, the maxillary nerve is going to provide innervation here, but through the branches of pterygopalatine ganglion. Pterygopalatine ganglion has got four kinds of branches, right? And they are orbital, nasal, palatine, and pharyngeal, right? So the branches which are going to the nasal cavity, they are called as posterior superior lateral nasal nerve. Nasal nerve because they are supplying nasal cavity. Lateral, why? Because they are supplying the lateral wall of the nasal cavity. Posterior superior because they are coming from posterior superior aspect. So the nerve name is posterior superior lateral nasal nerves. Another branch from the pterygopalatine ganglion which supplies the lateral wall of nasal cavity is the greater palatine nerve, right? Then anteriorly and inferiorly, we have another branch from the maxillary nerve. In fact, this is a branch of infraorbital nerve, which is continuation of maxillary nerve, and that branch is anterior superior alveolar nerve. Anterior superior alveolar nerve. So these are the nerves which are supplying anterior ethmoidal, posterior superior lateral nasal nerve, greater palatine, and anterior superior alveolar. Coming to applied aspects, what is rhinitis? It is inflammation and swelling of the mucous membrane of the nasal cavity. Now, what causes rhinitis? It could be a common cold, some viral infection could be there, or allergies. Allergies could be to dust, to the pollens, or different perfumes maybe. So they can also cause rhinitis. What are the symptoms of rhinitis? Mainly they include runny nose, sneezing, and blocked nose. Now the procedure which is used to examine the nasal cavity is known as rhinoscopy. And there are two kinds of rhinoscopy. That is, you can view the nasal cavity from its anterior opening, that is through the nostrils, or you can view it from its posterior opening, that is the corona or posterior nasal apertures. So we have two kinds of rhinoscopy, anterior rhinoscopy and posterior rhinoscopy. Anterior rhinoscopy, how does one examine? This is examination of nasal cavity through the nostrils by inserting a nasal speculum. through the nostrils. And what all can be examined? One can examine the flow, the medial wall and the lateral wall of the nasal cavity. One can look for hyperemia, that is increased vascular blood flow through that area, which could be because of some inflammation, infection there. If there is any discharge, abnormal discharge there, we can examine the Little's area where we have rich vascular anastomosis present there. If there is any septal deviation, is there any perforation in the wall, or if the turbinate or the concave they have enlarged, or if there are any polyps in the nasal cavity. So these can be viewed by anterior rhinoscopy. Posterior rhinoscopy, right? So here you're looking at the nasal cavity from the posterior openings, posterior nasal apertures or conae. So how does one examine this? This is done through the pharynx, and it is carried out by inserting a mirror into the pharynx. So in this picture one can see here, so here will be the mirror, this is the mirror, and through this mirror one can see the posterior aspect here of the nasal cavity through the posterior opening or the conae, and this will be this kind of view would be there. So what all can be seen here? The corona, that is the posterior nasal aperture or opening, they can be viewed. The concave can be viewed through the posterior nasal aperture, and the posterior border of the nasal septum can be also observed via the posterior rhinoscopy. Thank you so much for listening. You can also visit my site anatomyqa.com. All important questions along with answers are available there related to the anatomy subject.